The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold4 is Samsung's 4th generation of foldable phones. It's pretty safe to say that it went from a pretty cool concept to a phone that you could use every day. The Galaxy S is Samsung's lineup for a long time. So you have tried and tested, and you have the new kid on the block. What if you're deciding between two of these phones? It's a sticky conversation. I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja, and let's tackle about it. Like I said, these two phones are completely different when it comes to design. The Samsung S22 Ultra is like your regular smartphone. In the hand, it feels solid. It has some nice weight to it. It's not super thick, and it feels very premium. The Fold, on the other hand, well, it's pretty thick. It's less narrow than the S22, but the trade-off is that you get way more screen. Now, as different as these two phones look, they actually share some of the same things. Now, both are premium designs with armor aluminum edges and Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. Now, that is the protection used on these displays. You also get IP68 water and dust resistant on the S22 Ultra, but only IPX8 dust resistant on the Z Fold4. If you're a rough user, you may stay away from the Z Fold, as the foldables are a lot stronger than before, but they still can get damaged way easier than a just regular phone. Also, what's different is the fingerprint scanner. We typically associate premium phones to have a in-display fingerprint scanner these days, and that isn't the case on the Z Fold4. It actually has a side button fingerprint scanner. Now, the S22 Ultra definitely has the fingerprint scanner, and it's fast. I do like the physical button better on the side. I just think when you pick up the phone, you push the button to unlock it, you're getting in the phone at the same time. To me, it's better, but the S22 Ultra looks a lot better when doing it, and it does work just as fast. The Fold 4 has an advantage when it comes to the screen. It has that 6.2-inch, 120Hz HD dynamic AMOLED cover display when folded, and it opens up to a 7.6-inch, 120Hz QHD display. Now, you can watch multimedia or play games, while the cover display is more suited for something quick, like reading a feed, quick text, or just checking information. Now, the cover screen is wider than before, and you're able to do things without it being a struggle like last year. Even though it's better than last year's, it's not quite like using the S22 Ultra 6.8-inch 120Hz AMOLED display. So in terms of more convenient, obviously a traditional smartphone is more convenient, but when talking about more flexible and getting stuff done, it has to be the Fold. By far. I gotta say, being able to switch form factors on the fly is really cool. So if you're just sitting by yourself in the living room or on a plane, having that extra convenience of turning your small display into a large one is unbeatable, but still it being narrow enough to just use one hand is really nice. Now, more than ever, the foldable panel on the Z Fold4 is way more durable and usable in outdoor situations. It has HDR10+, has 1200 peak brightness, but side by side, the Ultra is a better display. It's made of glass and it's brighter. And aside from that, when you watch just regular content, it fills up the whole phone. Whereas the Z Fold4, since it's kind of a weird aspect ratio, a lot of times you have black spaces around what you're watching. It's not a big deal, but you are not able to experience that full screen. So both phones do support the S Pen as well. The S22 Ultra supports the traditional S Pen, and so does the Z Fold4. Now, the S22 Ultra has the Z Fold built into the phone, and it comes with the phone. Whereas the Z Fold4, you actually have to buy the S Pen, and there's nowhere to put it unless you have one of these special cases. In my opinion, the S22 Ultra just seems kind of weird having the S Pen. I don't see a huge need for it, whereas you look at a much larger device, it kind of makes sense to use it. I mean, you're gonna be signing PDFs, you can be drawing things, you can write different things, and it just makes more sense on a much larger screen. Now, the Galaxy S22 Ultra has up to 12 gigabytes of RAM alongside the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. The RAM count on the Z Fold4 is also the same, but you do get a better chip. You get Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. Now, in practice, none of these chips makes a huge real world difference, but I do feel that the 8 Plus Gen 1 will be more power efficient. It'll be able to handle more tasks at once, and also doesn't overheat at all. I'm not running into any performance differences between both devices, but I will say that chip is a better chip. So software is where stuff gets different. They do use identical software versions, which is fine, but the Z Fold4 does have special software tailored to the foldable tablet. So being able to use the large screen for multitasking between apps is something you just can't do on the S22 Ultra. So you can multitask on the S22 Ultra, but with that small screen, it just doesn't work great. But with the Z Fold 4, you do have access to this home screen dock, and it stays consistent and available for access even when you're in other applications. And this encourages you to use the power, like multitasking and opening different apps and all those things. It helps you because it's always at the bottom. And it really feels like you're actually in a tablet at this point, because it's not just a blown up phone. You do have this extra bar, which gives you more screen real estate and all those things, which makes you want to use the power of the display, which I think is a great thing. The S22 Ultra is a fast phone, but a lot of times you're in a singular app experience. The S22 Ultra has a big advantage when it comes to camera. It features a quad camera setup made up of a 108 megapixel primary sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and two 10 megapixel telephoto cameras, up to 10x optical zoom. Now this is in comparison to the Galaxy Z Fold 4 triple camera setup made of a 50 megapixel primary sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and a 10 megapixel telephoto camera with a 3x optical zoom. Now comparing the images from both phones, I feel like day in and day out, each device performs very well, but there is more sharpness and more quality, and I think even better color on the Galaxy S22 Ultra. You can also zoom in way more on the S22 Ultra. I mean, look at these comparison shots. I mean, these are max zoom level on both cameras right here. And yeah, you can get in way closer. I will say regardless, when it comes to video, I think they're both pretty standard, but still shots is where the S22 Ultra really stands. Now, as far as flexibility, the Z Fold has a lot of cool things. It has flex mode, so you can kind of bend it halfway, and then you have all your controls at the bottom, and it has like a built-in tripod, right? So the Z Fold 4 is a more flexible camera as far as like the way you use it, the more you can get creative with it. But the S22 Ultra is just an overall better camera, has higher specs, and all those things. I don't think you'll hate the camera either way. I've taken some great shots with both back to back, and they look pretty good, but when you compare them side by side, that is definitely where you see the difference. I think especially in low light too, the S22 Ultra is like a low light champion, whereas the Z Fold is just okay. The Z Fold does have some really cool things going with it, so you can always use the back cameras to take selfies because you can light up the cover display as a viewfinder, which makes for some really good looking selfies. But the S22 Ultra has a 40 megapixel selfie camera anyways, and they both look really good. So look, S22 Ultra has a lot going for it. Z Fold 4 has a lot going for it, and both are really good. Z Fold is more flexible, you can be more unique, but the S22 just looks better in general. Now, when we talk about battery life, the Galaxy S22 Ultra has a larger battery at 5,000 milliamps compared to the Z Fold 4 4,400 milliamp cell battery. I am finding that the S22 Ultra gives me roughly 10% more battery, but here's the interesting thing. The Z Fold, I tend to use more because it replaces a tablet for me and even sometimes my TV. So I do have a lot more screen on time on the Z Fold, but the S22 still gives me better battery. S22 Ultra supports 45 watt fast charging compared to Z Fold's 4 25 watt fast charging. Now both having the ability to charge 15 watts wirelessly and 4.5 watts reverse wireless charging. So basically bigger battery, faster charging on the S22 Ultra. Nice. I guess what do I think? It's kind of been ping-ponging back and forth, right? The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is undoubtedly one of the best flagships on the market. Even though the S22 is several months old now, it is still great. As a conventional phone, you cannot go wrong with it. But the Z Fold 4 gives you a different experience, an experience that some people would like and appreciate. I know I do. But does that difference justify almost double the price tag now? I guess maybe for some. Samsung does have great exchange offers going around, so if you do have an old flagship laying around, you can bring the price of the Fold down a lot. And then if you could bring it down to where the S22 Ultra is, at that price, the Z Fold 4 becomes much more tempting. It's kind of hard to not want to use this phone after using it for a little bit of time and after you adjust to the size. There's really no true answer here. It really depends on preference. One phone might be better for one person and one phone might be better for another person. So look, I want to know in the comments, if you were going to pick one up, which one would it be? I love to hear what you guys say, and also I want to hear your reasoning. Anyways, guys, I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja. You are my audience, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Anyways, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.